Okay, today I'm doing an oil change on the 2021 Lexus RX350. Okay, pardon the clutter. So why in the world would I normally don't do oil change videos. So why in the world would I do one on this car? Well, I've watched quite a few Toyota 3.5 oil change videos and a few on the Lexus RX350. I have not seen one on a 2021 yet, so I figured I'd do one. And you know what I've learned is people are changing out the oil filter housing. I think that's what they call that. So I bought basically the one in there is plastic. So people say, you know, get rid of the plastic and get a metal one. So I bought this from partsgeek.com, and that's the part number. Now the thing is, it said that this was good up to a 2019 RX350 with the 3.5. So this video is, does this work? I also went to Napa and I bought a metal oil filter housing adapter, or whatever you call it, the wrench to take this off. So there's the part number. It's a Carlisle 77-3152. So, and that seems to fit on there. I've tested that. And then I went to Walmart and bought some filters. And that's what I got, Toyota filters. So this should work. When I researched this, basically I'd go online and look for a metal, oil filter housing, and the only thing I could find online was the factory plastic one. So they just haven't started selling these to the newer Lexus. So, but I'm pretty sure this is going to work, because when I went to partsgeek.com to get this, I looked up the filters, and the 2019 takes the same filter. So I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work unless they change the threads here, and I just can't imagine that they would make any changes to the 3.5. It's been out for so long, so this should work. So yeah, I think that's all the part numbers, and I'm gonna go ahead and start draining the oil and get this going. Okay, a little more info on the they call it an oil filter cover. Didn't show you everything that was in the box. So you get the housing, comes with this part, and then it's got three different, these go inside your filter for different length filters, so it's pretty complete. So I'm going to take mine out and I'll figure out which one of these I need to put in. Based on what I'm seeing, it's going to be one of the shorter ones. I'm just looking at the filter. But let's get this oil dropped and we'll come back to this. Alright, step one, drain the housing. The 3/8 ratchet. I got an extension on there. Let's see, probably going the wrong way. Yeah, this is fun. Take out this little plug here. Oh man, I'm shaking all over. I'm gonna have to edit this or something. Okay. Sorry folks, I'm right-handed. Huh, not much oil coming out. Alright. Huh. I guess I gotta put that plastic, that's right. I gotta put that plastic thing in there. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna put the put the plastic tool, there. And the oil's supposed to come out. Something like that. Okay, yeah, I had to put the camera down. I couldn't get it in there. So that thing's got like an O-ring on it and everything. Alright, so we'll let that drain out and then we'll get our wrench and take off the housing. Alright, I took a 14mm wrench and I pulled the drain plug out, draining the oil, and we're still dripping the filter housing. It's about done. Okay. Take this thing back out. I think that has to turn. Seems like you have to turn this to get it in there. It gets kind of keyed or something. Let's see here. Okay, give me a second. Get that thing back out. Okay, so I got the plug out, or the drain. Yeah, it's not, there's nothing special. It's just you got to pull real hard. It fits pretty good in there. It's not a bad little drain tool. Okay, so I've got my wrench here, housing wrench. So it's got 3 slots on one side and 1 on the other, and that's, I'll show you this housing once I get it off. It's got to have the 3 slots. Alright, once again I got to change hands here. Okay, so that gotta go up there. Yeah, it's not too tight. Okay. There should be a little oil. Oops. Should be a little oil coming out. Hold on, let me move my pan. Gotta catch this oil. There. Okay. I need a tripod or something. There we go. Okay. There it is. Okay. Take this over to the bench. Alright, let's get a shot of it. I still got the wrench on there, so it's got one notch there, and on the other side it's got the 3. It probably isn't going to show up. There we go. So you really got to have that style wrench. I think some of these wrenches just have 1 slot on each side, but this one you got to have the 3. Okay, I took out the factory Toyota part, and this is the aftermarket. So I think I'm just going to put my Toyota part into the housing, and I'll save this one. And it comes with all that. And I'm running Valvoline full synthetic 0-20. And I think it takes, I bought 6 quarts. I think it takes just over 5. Okay. There are some slight differences here, but I put this on without a filter and it goes right on. And this one only has, you'll notice it just has the 2 tabs, so that wrench I have works on either. The 3, you see that you got 3 on one side and 1 on the other. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I got that installed. So there's some tabs down there. You can see that one there is right in the center is bent at a 90. So that'll have to be bent out. So I'll show you what I did on the other side. Let me take this outside. Hold on. Yeah, so you can see that tab down there needs to be bent out like I did on this other side. or I'm sorry, the one on the bottom needs to be bent out, just so this thing can't turn. It just locks it in there. Okay. Alright, I got those tabs bent out, just so that this thing can't come loose. See how it locks it in between there. Alright, so we're getting ready to put the filter in. I'm going to show you a tech tip that I've watched several of these videos where people change filters on the 3.5, and I can't believe I haven't seen anybody do this. So another night crawler tech tip. We're going to take some oil, we're going to put it in the filter housing. Give me a second here. Okay, so that's called priming an oil filter, and I have not seen anybody do this. This is the only, in 35 years, this is only the second vehicle I've had where the oil filter went on vertically. I've had the XJs where the filter goes on upside down, which doesn't help, but you know, if your filter's sitting like that, you can prime the oiling system, and this is way better for the engine because you know, you've got that initial dry start, which is, they say, where all the wear comes, where a lot of the wear comes from. You know, your pickup tube is in the oil pan, of course it's pulling oil out of there, but you've got a little bit of oil that's going to be missing out of here, so you got a little bit of air that's going to get pushed through the oiling system. So I like to prime them, and then it's just the same as, it's almost like you didn't change the filter. You know, this is always full, so that's what I like to do. I'm gonna probably put a little more in there, but I think that's the way to do it, and I don't know why nobody else is saying that in the videos. I've even seen you know, Toyota technicians, and they don't prime it, they just throw a filter in there. Alright, now I got it fully primed. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just below the, you know, the top of the housing. You could probably just fill it half full, 3/4 full, but as long as there's something in there, that anything will help. So I'm gonna go put this on. Also went ahead and lubed the oil, the O-ring, and I put a little bit of oil on the threads just because now we've got metal to metal instead of the plastic, so it might be just a little bit rough, and so yeah, I think that'll help. Okay, I've got my torque wrench, half-inch torque wrench set to 18 pounds, and I'm running a 1/2 to 3/8 adapter. Will get this torqued. Okay, I got that torqued. Torqued it to 18 foot-pounds, and interesting, this tab here lines right up with that on the engine block there, right in the center, so that must be the sweet spot. So every time I put this thing on, it should line up right there. So even if I didn't have a torque wrench, if I just centered it on there, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna check the tightness on this drain here, and then we'll put the plug back in and start throwing some oil in. Looking good. I don't see any leaks. It's been running for a while. Okay, so I think we're going to call this a success. Did not see any oil leaks. I'm real happy with the parts. Looks factory to me. It looks really good. So $37.63. So when we bought this car, the lady at the Lexus dealer was like, oh yeah, you only have to change the oil every 10,000, and I'm like, no way. I've been doing oil changes between 3,000 and 4,000 miles for 35 years, and I'm not going to change. And I've seen videos on YouTube from Toyota technicians that say that you have to read the fine print. There's a lot of things you have to do to get by with 10,000, but I think the number one thing is people are just too damn lazy to do an oil change. Really, I mean, how hard is it? Especially on this car, it's very easy. You know, this is my first time and had to learn the new parts, but I'm sure this is going to be pretty. This is easier than a lot of other cars I've done, so I like the oil filter location. Everything's easy to get to. This car sits real high off the ground. Don't have to jack it up too high. There's one other thing I'm going to show at the end of the video. Why I'm doing an oil change. Well, I always do it at 3,000, but the first one is critical. And this is something that I think that all new cars, they should have you change the oil at 3,000 because of engine break-in. So I've always been doing this for a long time. These are getting hard to find, but it's just a little book, and I keep all my lubrication and repairs. I just keep all this in the car. It's just nice to keep records, and then if you sell the car, people can see kind of what you did to it. Alright, I'm going to show you one last thing, why the first oil change is very important. Okay, this is why the first oil change is very important. So this car is brand new. There's this thing called a break-in period. You know, anytime you rebuild an engine or have any kind of mechanical machinery, it takes a minute for the parts to all work together and everything. So let's take a look inside here. I think that's going to show up on camera. Look at all the little sparklies down at the bottom of the housing. Now, if this was a car with more miles, that would be kind of alarming. And some of that is the oil just shining, but you can kind of see the specks down at the bottom. And that's basically bearing material. That's maybe a little bit of piston ring material. I don't know what all. But this is to be expected. And it's kind of nice when this stuff's floating around in your oiling system to get it out. Most of it, it should end up in the pan, and it should end up in the oil filter housing, But yeah, I don't want that in the system, so I'm not going to go 10, 11, 12,000 miles with this stuff floating around in there. So at least do the first oil change in a reasonable amount of time. Get those metal particles out of the oiling system. There's a screen on your oil pickup tube, and that's designed to not pick this stuff back up and recirculate. That's why it has a screen. This stuff will fall down. It comes out of the just goes down into the pan, but it can't get sucked back up because of the screen on the pickup tube. So in theory you should be okay, but still it's just nice to get all those particles out. So yeah, I think this was a success. Again, if you do this to your own car, do so at your own risk. Nothing here is guaranteed, but it looks like everything fits well, works well. I'm real happy with the Napa wrench. The original housing kind of got stuck on there, and I had to pry it out with a screwdriver. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, but it worked really well on the new housing. So yeah, I think this is going to be a nice setup. Real happy. Okay, talk to you later. See you later.